Hello. How is everyone doing today? Mike Arnold here, co-founder, Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino. So, first trading day of the new year. S&P up 60 basis points, Nasdaq up 1.12%, and Dow also up 60 basis points. So Nasdaq definitely the leader today, going up. How is everyone doing? Again, by the way, if you're new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing the bell, and hitting the like or dislike button. Also, longer term viewers, please do come back and leave comments separate once the video is reposted. It helps get it out there to a wider audience. So, yeah, pretty strong day. Nothing, of course, like the Tesla move, which was, I've never witnessed anything like that in my life. But we'll talk about that during the Tesla video. So let's take a look at these markets, what to expect for going into the rest of the week. Okay, volume today. I mean, picking up, but you still see it's got a ways to really get ramping back up. I want to see if we get some follow through tomorrow. So that will be key when everybody's literally back in the office. But we're basing, remember, we broke above the resistance area, came back, and now rotation up off the daily rotation zone. So I am definitely watching for higher prices, although the breath still stinks. And again, it was rotation into things like the higher risk momentum plays again. Like at this point, I mean, Apple's not a higher risk, but it's a momentum play, and this valuation is a little insane, but it will keep going until it doesn't. So, real quick, just we had this on from yesterday. We had this little mini double bottom just showing that, or no, sorry, this was from this morning. Sorry, I just pointed this out to shorter term traders. This is why we don't run the doubles past their targets. So you had this little mini double bottom, 48.75 running right up there, and then just the quick dump on the day. But then it recovered nicely. We had this key 47.55 area. You can see here, strong reversal off of there, spiking back below there at the open today, but then, moving on up, getting back into bullish mode this afternoon, and then just proceeding to rally back up. So I'm watching for follow through tomorrow. Bullish line in the sand for me tomorrow is up around this 47.87 area, 47.8650, 47.87. As long as we stay above there, I will be in bullish mode. Starting to get a little separation on the 4-hour rotation zone. And then my next target higher is this 47.93 area. I'm going to bump that up just at 47.93, then 4,800, then above 4,800. We can do some minor levels now. We can do some minor levels right here for more of the short-term trading. 48.06, 48.12. Major level is the cluster at 48.34.75 area. So let's just see here. I think we have everything in play there. Yeah, there we go. So one of these. So that's where we're watching to the upside. To the downside, still line in the sand is 47.55. If we break below that, then that's pretty much going to wipe out this little up move for the time being. I will pay attention to about 47.46. And then below 47.46, I'm back down. Let's see, 47.46 is really key. 47.46 to about 47.50, because that's what the daily rotation zone. We drop below that, I'm back to 47.30. Then major support 47.05 at this point. Not an overbought condition yet, so we still easily room to run. You can really see here that really nice pullback to the daily rotation zone and the rotation back up, which is one of the reasons we use the rotation zone and we watch it. Nasdaq finally getting back above. It had some resistance at this trend line and a little back and forth, coming back down, dipping, and now standing back above there. So Nasdaq also returned daily rotation zone and the rotation back up. My next target area for the Nasdaq, let me switch that out, is 16,565 area. Then above that, watching for a return to the 16,661 area. Then next major, besides the all-time highs at 16,767, I'm really focused on about 16,800. 16,796 to 16,805 is the cluster. Let's take a look at the shorter term price action. For tomorrow, bullish mode just moving up a bit, so about 16,450 area. And first little area of support, I would be watching that key area with the 1 hour rotation zone. If we dropped below that, then I'm keying off about 16,425. We drop below that because that's also the support shelf in the first cross, take us back into bullish mode on the 4 hour. If we drop below that, then I'm coming back down, which again would not be a positive. About 16,343, then 16,300 is the next key area down to the downside. And that would pretty much wipe out pretty much all of today's move. You can see into the rotation zone, and we came down just below that 16,303 area again, and that held nicely, and the strong rotation back up. Major line in the sand now is about 16,246. We have a harmonic there and the bottom of the rotation zone, so you don't want to see a close back below that level, and nowhere near overbought yet. So this can I can see easily a retest of this, at least a 16,660 area. All right, let's take a look at the Dow. The Dow also, rotation zone right near Friday's lows and strong rotation back up. The only thing I had, again, here's an example of this double that was on the chart. We covered this in yesterday's session, and you can see finally this is again why you don't extend the targets beyond the double, finally pushing up that full target, then strong reversal. So you don't try to hold this because you can always get back in on a move. Did not really get to bullish mode until this afternoon, getting back above this 36,350. So where are we watching tomorrow? This has to prove itself a little more for me tomorrow, coming in about 36,430. If it stays above there, then I'll be in bullish mode. Still, it's sitting right at this, just eking out a move above that, but the next little minor resistance area is right by today's high. Today's high was 36,472, and that's right at this shelf. We get above there, though, you're in some clear air to 36,575 area. Then we have 36 minus 36,628, 36,685, but then the major area gets upwards. Let me see here. The major area, which one's this? We got two. I'm just going with the 36,829, then 37,078, then 37,212 to the upside. So that's pretty much sums it up for the Dow. Might as well take a quick glance at the Russell for the beginning of the year. Still, it finally confirmed the double bottom. So this is a confirmed double bottom, but still not triggered. You're still waiting for the close above just about 2280. I just look at 22.84, the key close above that. Let's see. What do we have here? Crude coming back down into the rotation zone in that 75.45 area and rotating back up. So I'm still in bullish mode on crude. Watching for now a return to the most recent highs. By the way, if it still closes above Friday's high tomorrow, it is another buy signal. Then we have 79.32, 81.19. Gold got hammered today. Gold got hammered, could not, it stalled out at this harmonic, and then back below, I was watching this again, 1812 area, kept back below there. If it gets back below 1792, then that's not a good sign. Then I'm expecting the gold move to be over in the short term, at least till we get a market sell-off. Silver coming back down to the daily rotation zone, but this was essentially a failed breakout above the 2327 area. So I'm watching for potential even on a continued pullback in silver, 2221. Bonds, the 10-year, the 10-year note. Now this is interesting. It finally hit this, look at this 129.14 harmonic we have. So I'm going to have to update the harmonics for this. We're going to go to this low that just missed fulfilling it before. But this is pretty substantial. Remember, we have this major head and shoulders pattern in the notes. And we close now below this little shelf, this little prior resistance shelf becoming some potential support. So again, I'm watching for substantially lower prices. I'm just going to pull this off since now that's a horrible triple bottom formation. And I want to put on the minor harmonics. So next levels I'm watching for lower are about 128.24, then major cluster 128.03 area. So that's going to be key to the downside, but definitely in bearish mode for the notes. Dollar index held at this key little significant level and the 50 and rotating back up. Talked about this yesterday that if it closed down into this area, I was watching for the pullback to 94.54. Did not, rotation back up. Let me put on some harmonics to the upside with this. Important to keep an eye on the dollar too. It's got a lot of stuff to work through. My next area I'm really watching on a closing basis about 96.64. Right around there. So it's still, if it can't get above there on a closing basis, it's still stuck in this consolidation pattern. But then if it can get above 96.94, we're at 97.40, then 97.86. What else? There was your Apple move. So pull back to the rotation zone. And again, this is now a triple top that never triggered the double top. So that's a continuation pattern, slightly favoring. So I'm still at 183.96 and about 180. I'm just roughly going about 185 to 186 to about 186.50. Then above there, 190.79. What else do we have? I know. Here's your Boeing, William. Closed above the 50. It still has not triggered the double top or confirmed it. So you did go to close above the 50, which is more bullish, but it ended the day not as strong. The double is still in play. Other than that, there's nothing else to talk about with it. What else do we have? Anything else anybody wants to look at right now? It's just NVIDIA. See, NVIDIA's did not do anything. We're getting some. We had Apple strong, but Microsoft nothing. So that's those couple things. Disney again has triggered this double bottom play and still watching for the close above the 50, but once again your targets are still 159.45, 161, and then 164.24. So that is, you get the first cross of the rotation zone. So even on any pullback, you really don't want to see it close below about 153 at this point. But if it can break through this 50, which is providing pretty decent resistance so far, then I think it's off to the races to the upside. Tilray. It's just got waning momentum on a divergence pattern. I'd really need to see it because you're still against the daily rotation zone, the weekly rotation zone. Let's see. Has not triggered a buy pattern yet for me. I'd really want to see it get a close above about 820, and then on a potential pullback and rotation back up, it could be an aggressive play to the upside. Other than that, you know, it looks like it's trying to put in a bottoming formation, but there's nothing substantial yet to really trade off of. Yeah, and Tilray's earnings are on the 11th of January. MDB, MongoDB, Mongo database. Not looking very healthy. Ooh, I'd keep an eye on this one, especially if you break below on a weekly. Yeah, that works. If you break, wow, it's still a long way off, but this is not one I cover regularly. But if you get the close below 417.22 on a weekly basis, that'd be a close below the 50 week, and it would trigger this double top pattern and all three targets within the move that started it. So that, and just it's sitting now at the bottom of the weekly rotation zone, back below in bearish. There's nothing here that interests me from a long perspective at this point. Nothing here. It's more likely now if it starts getting a close below about 476, it could be an interesting short play. You still have this unfilled gap down here, so it could be an interesting short play or interesting short play with options to fill this gap and then potentially roll it into a double play. That's the only thing that interests me off of MDB, but nothing to the upside. What do we have? AMD. AMD did trigger a buy pattern today. So we triggered a buy pattern today. I'd be watching again with a tight stop below the lows from December 31st, but you get a run up. I would be targeting again. Nothing's really changed. It just did trigger a buy pattern, stalling out at that 62.5 harmonic from before. But I'd be watching for a return to this 156.73 area. Then you have the cluster at 160, and then you have 163.26. So that's a good upside play. It's just voided if you get a close back below Friday's low. If you want to give it a little more room, you get a close back below the 50 would be my absolute line in the sand. You get a close below the 50, then it's you know, because this is running out of momentum. So, but it's an interesting short-term play. Logitech could have an interesting little thing here. Now, this is putting in a nice basing formation, a nice bottoming formation. You start getting a move above about this 85.50 area. You still have this gap fill. You know, you have the rotation zone back to bullish, but the weekly, it's now closed in the weekly. So I'd be playing this to the long side if you can get that move above about 85.50, and that, but you can't ignore this 89.50 area. So I'd be watching for the gap fill and then 89.50 with that gap fill, and definitely aggressively move up stops and or take something off the table with that. So that's Logitech ZS. Ooh. Yuck. That was not a good bar. Conservative double. It's still in play. It's still in play, but this is a horrible bar. I mean, your stop on the double has to be back down around this 275 area, so it could even pull back and then rotate back up. But this, I don't know if there was bad news that came out. I don't follow ZS, but that definitely did trigger this double bottom. Came up and then just came back down to retest the breakout area, and this bar was just horrible. But again, double is still in play on this. Double is still in play. By the way, that double top pattern, just want to map that out. Yep, double top, triggered, little retracement, re-entry, coming back down, momentum bar through that 280 level, then forming that double bottom and off to races. So this thing can whip around quite a bit. I know nothing about this stock. But you know, you start getting down to this area, that double bottom play is off the table. Red or green tomorrow? I'm expecting it to be green in the markets. And if it's not green tomorrow, because again, everything's back pretty much to normal tomorrow. So we should be able to get some follow through. If it can't follow through, then that's not a particularly good sign. So I'm expecting some kind of green tomorrow. And I'm not seeing anything else. So where do we have? Oh, let me just take a look at cryptos. We'll talk about that one in the Tesla live stream. I'm not going to mix those things. Bitcoin's still barely holding on. Barely hold. Look at this significant level we've had, this 46,128 area. If we start breaking below that on a closing basis, watch out below, especially with you know, the markets being up today and we couldn't get any traction in Bitcoin. Ethereum also up to the daily rotation zone and rotating back over. So the cryptos are not strong at the moment. I'm watching for a further breakdown in the cryptos, by the way, Wavy. Coin. Where'd that I That's not a. I'm trying to remember where I had a pattern on here. I have not looked at coin a little bit. Oh, that was for that potential until it broke down. So yeah, that was off the table. Coinbase. I mean, unless you get some traction in the cryptos, coin is gonna again. It's in bearish mode on the daily. It's in bearish mode on the weekly. It's a choppy mess right now. It's been all over the place. If you get below this 247.50, I'm expecting to retest this 233 area, 231 area to 231 to 233 area. So yeah, I don't have anything else on here. Would not be in bullish mode on coin right now. Nothing with that. So let's see. You think we test 42K? I think we're headed lower, and I could easily see a retest. I could easily see Bitcoin by the end of this year back below 20K. Mike tends to agree. Let's see. And the high ES 5195, 5,195 days from 1516 high on 10/11/07. Okay. So with that, I think we're going to wrap it up for now. And we will do the Tesla live stream in 30 minutes. Hey, Dan Jet. Oh, hey, thanks for being here at the very end. I will talk to everyone then. Bye for now.